Alright, David Harry here, and after a couple of preliminary tests in general with microphones and stuff, and very specifically the microphone that I'm on now, which is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, I've kind of started getting a bit of a grip on how the microphones respond with the GoPro Hero8 Black, and also the older microphone interface is at the GoPro Pro 3.5mm mic adapter. So that's the adapter that was designed for the Hero5, 6, 7 in session. So I've now got it kind of like in configurations that I'm very happy with. So what I'm going to do is give ourselves some examples of this combination. And to start off with, I'm by the usual busy main road here, just to give ourselves an idea of how all this kind of acts and responds when you're in a noisier environment, because I'll get off into the park shortly and I'll carry on doing my stuff there. But this should give us an idea of how well this system's like kind of dealing with my voice and picking me up within this environment. And as we can see, well, actually the traffic keeps stopping and starting, but when I started the vlog down the road, there was a lot of traffic. There's going to be more traffic coming over there, so we'll get a clear idea of how I'm being picked up. And bear in mind, I'm pointing right in towards the traffic there, so there's going to be more sound there coming off the traffic than what there would be if I turn around. And I'll show you now, because if I turn around like that, hopefully the traffic has dropped off a little bit. Anyway, I'll get off into the park and continue there. Okay, so I'm now on the bridle path which runs up the side of the park that I go and do my tests in. And I think in recent times this has kind of become like a circuit for me for doing a bunch of these things, you know, where I'm testing the sonic capabilities, also picture as well of certain things. And that's to start off by the busy main road. And the reason why I do that bit first is that gives us a clear indication as to how well a microphone may or may not be picking up your dialogue when you're vlogging by like noisy noises. So things like cars and such like that. So, you know, I think in the global scheme of things, it doesn't get much louder than standing by a busy main road. So that particular part of the test is actually really good to determine like the rejection of things with the microphone, and as to whether or not it's going to be concentrating more on your voice and whatnot. And so, like I say, for this particular setup, the GoPro 8 and the Rode mic, I think I've kind of got it now to the level where I'm like really happy as far as the recording of the signal is concerned, because I've done a ton of testing. Also, there'll be links to them tests as well. Some of them I'm actually going to put live on the channel, and not just as like my usual preliminary tests, which are usually hidden, because a couple of them have actually, you know, I think it's actually really good if some people get to see the method that are used for testing things, because if people want to reproduce that method for themselves, then hopefully that'll help them to get the best kind of sound for themselves with regard to the equipment, whether that be the Hero 8 or another camera, but be the same methodology for doing all that. Anyways, so what I'm going to do now, I'll get into the park and then I'll explain a bit more about the actual settings and the setup itself, and then hopefully that's going to give people further ideas as to what they may want to do with exactly the same equipment. So as far as the setup and the settings are concerned, it's very straightforward, and to be honest, it was probably the first settings that I used when I did my testing. But like I say, you have to test a number of different options just to make sure that it all works. And basically what those settings are is to put the GoPro into standard powered. And the reason why you do that is because you're feeding it a pre-powered microphone. So put it into standard powered on the actual audio input options. And of course, obviously you have to have the audio interface to do that. And like I said, this is the older 3.5mm version of the audio interface, and obviously not the Media Mod, because that's not available at the moment. And then on the microphone itself, I've just left that in its standard position, so no gain and no reduction. So no -10 and no +20, just have it in 0 as it were. Basically the lights are all off, except for the power lights, obviously, otherwise you're not going to hear anything. And what I've also found, and this bit is this is discretionary, I think, and this is purely down to taste. What it is, I've got the dead cat on the VideoMic Pro or Pro Plus, and usually when you put a dead cat on or any form of obstruction to a microphone, it will alter the tone of the microphone. Now in that instance, the Pro Plus has an option to boost the frequencies in the high range to try and make up for things that you may lose when you actually, you know, put the dead cat on. Now for me personally, what it is, I have a very sibilant voice. And if you don't know what sibilance is, it's when you hear people like say S, and like it hurts a bit when you hear them do it, like it's like a bit like a snake or something, I don't know. But yeah, I have a very sibilant voice. So despite the fact that the HF boost is going to be of benefit for a lot of people, it isn't necessarily for me. So whatever reduction in the higher frequency ranges that may occur when you've got the dead cat on the VideoMic Pro Plus, for me to add the HF boost in doesn't help my voice because I'm sibilant, and so that just accentuates the sibilance again. I mean, I don't know, even when a microphone is a bit dull and like a flat mic, I can still go into sibilance with a mic like that as well. So what I've done, I've just left it without the HF boost in. But like I say, that choice, that's just discretionary. Use that at your own discretion, but well, based on your own voice, for instance. So if you've got like a very deep voice and you're not very bright with your voice, you may want to switch that on. So basically then, GoPro set to standard powered, no gaining at the GoPro, and then no gaining at the mic either, and discretionary on whether or not you use the HF boost. Now, the only other thing is, a lot of people like to use boosts either in the GoPro or at the microphone. Well, you can do that if you don't want to mess about in post, and that's a good thing, because a lot of people don't like fooling around, you know, in the edit and messing around with, like, you know, sound and messing around with picture. A lot of people just want to get in there, cut the picture and, like, you know, export it out and have done with it. And quite frankly, that is what I do. But I just usually do one extra stage with the audio, and that is to add a limiter. Now, if you use the +20 on the microphone, or if you use the boosted version or the high version inside the GoPro itself, you're gonna achieve fairly much a similar thing, and that is just to gain the audio louder, so you got a more healthy output when it actually goes out and when you've rendered it. But for me personally, because I don't mind the extra little bit of messing about in post, I apply a limiter just to bring the level up a bit more. I don't add any EQ, so what you're hearing here right now hasn't had like any extra EQ applied to the microphone or anything, only the limiting to raise the level up into post-production with it, and that's only to give me more of a healthier output when the actual video is finally up on YouTube. But again, discretionary. Either add the boost if you want at the camera, or do it in post-production, or you may just be dead happy with the level you've achieved at the recording anyway. So what it is right now, very quickly, bit of a picture test as well while I'm doing this. Where I am right now, I'm covered by trees, so it's really quite dark here. So I'll just get a little idea as to how the GoPro is responding with gaining up in this environment here, because it is very dark, and especially for an action camera with such a small sensor, which isn't known to be, like, you know, very sensitive to light and stuff. So that should give us a really good idea as to how this looks here. Okay, so I know I'm doing a lot of yammering here, but hopefully you know, giving people information which is going to help them to, like, produce a better sound for themselves when they're vlogging. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go sit down in this little walled garden area and just get to the end of the video and summarize a little bit. Alright, so to a bit of an end summary and a conclusion to this video. And I've got to be sharpish, which raises a very serious point here. As you can probably see, these clouds are looking a little angry, which means it may well start raining. So this has got to bring me to the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the garden, and that is, in order to do this setup with the GoPro, you have to leave the side door off, and therefore you're exposing the GoPro to the elements. Now, there was a really good vlog I watched yesterday by a YouTuber that I follow, who is Mr. Robert John Kerr, and there'll be a link here to Robert's video. Now what it is, Robert has also got the same setup as me, and what it is, for his first video, he made a deliberate, you know, kind of like decision not to take the door off, when he could have used other elements and done exactly the same thing, because Robert raised that exact point, which is an excellent point that he raised, which is you are leaving your system open to the elements. So, you know, that definitely is a bit of a concern. Now, the one thing that I can say, and hopefully, Robert, if you watch this video, the one thing that I could tell you, buddy, nothing has fallen out. The battery is really solid in, so's the SD card, and the cable doesn't flop out or nothing. So I've been doing stuff like, I've been doing tons of stuff for the last 2 days in this configuration. I've been all over the place doing loads of things, not had any issues with it, mate. So yeah, if you want to try it, Robert, try it. I appreciate what you're saying. You're absolutely right. You've got to be careful about where and when you do these things because of the weather and that. But that also leads me on to another point. Once the Media Mod comes out, you know, you're going to have to be careful with that also as well. So you can't go out in the rain with that either, because it's not a waterproof system or anything like that. And also it then has, let's see, USB, HDMI and a 3.5mm jack socket on the back. So more ports open to the elements and stuff like that as well. So obviously, you know, that, well, the USB-C port's got to be there in case you want to apply external power. The HDMI port's got to be there in order to feed that little screen that they're going to bring out, and obviously the 3.5mm adapter if you want to use external microphones, which then leads me on to another point. Do you buy one of these adapters now, which is the older adapter, knowing that you want to buy the Media Mod when that comes out and potentially lose money because you bought something as a kind of like, you know, a little stopgap? Well, here's the thing. If you don't already have one, because I already had this, so that was fine. If you don't already have one, and you're, you know, if audio plays a big part of your, you know, your GoPro setup, especially for vlogging, unfortunately, I'd say you have to get one, even if it's only for 2 or 3 months. But again, these all raise other points that I can quickly discuss. Because we don't know what that Media Mod's going to be like, and as a for instance, I think the biggest draw to the Media Mod for vlogging is the built-in microphone. Now I'm going to assume that that's going to be a fantastic mic, and if that is the case, then I think it's game over for external microphones with the GoPro, which will be a fantastic option, not to have to go out and plug any microphone into the GoPro, regardless of how small they may be. I mean, this particular microphone isn't a small one, but you know, if you use something, say like let's see, the VideoMic Pro, which is going to be the next mic that I'll do a video on. If you use the VideoMic Pro, that's about the smallest one you can use. But even if you could eliminate even something that small out of the equation, then, you know, that little built-in mic system that's on the Media Mod could be absolutely amazing. But if it isn't, and then you're then forced to start using external microphones with the Media Mod, which obviously you can do, and as much as what that all looks dead sexy, it's all self-contained and looks like a complete system, you still may have to use external mics with it, or you may have to use specialized microphones at certain times, especially lavaliers. Now, if you're going to have to do that anyway, and the internal microphone may not be up to scratch, you may not even bother wanting to get the Media Mod. You may still want to get one of these older interfaces, and if you don't mind the little cumbersome setup for it and whatnot, then yeah, you know, it may actually be the better option. One, it's cheaper. It should still be available on the GoPro site. I think it's £50, or you might get them on Amazon and stuff. If I can find links to them, I'll throw links in the descriptions and stuff like that. So if you get yourself one and then you find out that the Media Mod wasn't really what you thought it was going to be, you'll have saved yourself money anyway. And plus, on top of that, when the Media Mod comes out, if you bought one of these interfaces, I don't think you're going to lose a ton of money on it if you put it on eBay or something, because there's going to be a lot of GoPro 5, 6 and 7 users who can still use this one anyway. Okay, so I think hopefully I've made a bit of sense there anyway, somewhere along my ramblings. And well, to the main point, how does the microphone sound on this system, because in my prelim tests and stuff it sounded great. And on that point as well, I'm going to be doing a bit of a flood of videos on my channel, and a lot of that is going to be very specific testing. Now these tests are things that I don't normally put up, or I don't make them live usually, but I'm coming up with some pretty interesting results off some stuff, so I'm going to just throw it all out there. So there will be a glut of videos over the next week or so, maybe coming from my channel. And I know that might seem like a lot of stuff just to randomly throw out, but hopefully, you know, in the stuff that I've been doing, I'm just hoping that it helps other people and helps them to kind of like maybe hopefully get a better sound, or get to a better sound quicker. And if there's anything to avoid, hopefully I can point that out as well. Now quickly, there is one thing. I've got a video, it may have already have gone up, but it'll go up after this, and it's using the GoPro in fully automatic mode as far as picture is concerned. So if you're a vlogger and you're not overly familiar with the likes of, like, you know, working in Pro Tune in a flat color mode and then starting to like mess with it in post, if you haven't got that much technical skill, or if you just simply don't want to do that, you will definitely have to use the GoPro in fully auto mode for its picture while you're out and about vlogging. You definitely might want to have a little look at this video that I've done. There'll be a link here, and there'll be a link in the descriptions to it and stuff. But along with that video, there'll be a few others as well going up, which might seem a bit random, but there are points to all the videos that I'll be doing. Anyways, I think this is going to sum it all up now. So yeah, if you want to have a look at all my GoPro videos that I'm going to be doing with the 8 and my old ones, I'm going to be using this URL, www.gopro9.com. Now initially that might just link to the playlist for all my stuff, but eventually that'll have a website attached to it. Also, anything that I use in the videos and whatnot, there'll be links to in my descriptions to the microphones and any bits of rigging and stuff like that. People are interested in going and buying some of these things and whatnot. So yeah, if you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, get all over that bell icon notification thing like there's no tomorrow. And I've been David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.